Yes, people, welcome back to another stream, man. Some people asked me where I was yesterday. I did streams on like everyone else's channel yesterday, and by the time I got to do my own stream, I was like, man, I'm too tired, so I'm just going to go to bed. Hence why there was no stream yesterday. Hopefully you're all doing well. I'm joined by Sava. We're going to get into all the football in action. Make sure you are subscribed to Football Heritage TV. Link is in the stream title. But let's get some shout-outs done rapid. Big up to Itchy Goat, Section City 9320. Big up Formidables, True Blue Tie, Man City biggest fan. Big up Dan, Briggsy, MC Football, Dash, Broman's here, A1's here. Big up to Inner Coma. Big up to Marshy, Cameron, Ronald, Cy, Owen, AM, Aubrey. Big up to Letty, FCB, Elite. Good to see you guys. Hopefully you're all doing well, man. Make sure you smash the likes. Make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Savra, how you doing, buddy? You all right?
I'm good, mate. I'm good. Yeah, we're playing today, so it's match day for me. Yeah, big third round tie against Burnley at White Hart Lane. So yeah, it's all going on. You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. I'm good, man. You know, my team went for a bit of a rough patch. You know what I mean? Some people were saying we was in crisis, and I think obviously one person's crisis and one team's crisis is different to another team's crisis, right?
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
And obviously some people looked at it and went, City have won one game in 6, they're in crisis. And I understood why people said that. And I sort of agreed to a certain degree. I think I might have said it on the stream, because if that continued, you're out the title race and title's gone.
Yeah.
Like, you're a mid-table team and you win 1 in 6, that's not a crisis. Like if you're like I don't know, someone like say West Ham now win 1 in 6, that's not a crisis because they're not in a title race, they're not really challenging for top 4. But you can't afford to win 1 in 6. But yeah, we've sort of turned it around slightly. It's early days, but I'm hoping we're going in the right direction. Yo, big up to Paritosh, who's just gifted 5 memberships straight off the rip, man. Big up to you, bro. Thank you very much for the 5 gifted. Guys, W's in the chat for Paritosh Pandit, who's coming in with the 5 gifted off of the rip. So yeah, you got a big game tonight against Burnley. I say it's a big game, and this is why I describe it as a big game, because I just had George on, and I sort of disagreed with some of the takes that he had about Spurs. Spurs have not won a trophy since 2008, yeah, as you're probably well aware.
So I didn't know that. I didn't know that till just now, Obi. I didn't know.
Yeah, sorry to bring it up, bro.
I thought we were a serial winning team.
No, unfortunately not. You could have been maybe if your owners or managers would have been slightly better. But here's the thing. Yeah. He was speaking about maybe rotating a couple players, bringing in a couple of 18-year-olds. Here's why I disagree. You guys need to win trophies. You guys need to win silver. You guys need to build winning mentality. And the only way you can do that is by winning silverware. Now, either Arsenal or Liverpool are going out anyway because they've got each other. So that's one big gun gone. Yeah. I'm not 100% sure whether Pep Guardiola is going to take the FA Cup seriously this year, because we've already won the UEFA Super Cup. We've won the Club World Cup. And we're in a Premier League race and a Champions League. And I have a feeling that if we get a difficult fixture come down the line in the FA Cup, he might just sack it off and think, I don't really need it this year. I've already got 2 in the bank and I want to go for the big 2. If he rotates, and of course he might rotate and you still win, but if he rotates and you guys get knocked out, if I was a Spurs fan, I'd be absolutely fuming with that. What's your take on those views?
Yeah, I mean, look, first and foremost, I don't think there are many options that you can actually do. We've got so many injury suspensions and players at the AFCON, as well as Sonny at the Asian Cup. I don't think there's room for 7, 8, 9 changes like we saw against Fulham in the League Cup earlier on in the season, which I was fuming about, by the way. I was fuming about.
Rightly so as well. Rightly so.
No European football. You're playing once a week. The season was 2 or 3 games old, so no one's tired, right? No one's tired. Got to put your best team out. He didn't. Then said, that he needed to see what the other players were capable of. And it's like, well, hang on, that's what training's for. That's why you have pre-season and training, you know. But listen, 3 games into his Spurs career, you think, okay, cool, let's overlook that. Then you get to this game tonight. Look, I'm not against seeing one youngster come in. I'm not against seeing one youngster come in, right? Because I do think some of the fringe players we've been playing anyway have been crap, if we're going to call it for what it is. I'm not against seeing an Ashley Phillips instead of Emerson Royale. I'm not against seeing Jamie Donnelly, youngsters that I'm not sure how familiar everyone is with them, but I'm not against seeing a Jamie Donnelly play in the number 10 role, and seeing how he goes. What I'm against is if we get to tonight and I see Fraser Forster in goal, Eric Dier at centre-half, right? If I see Brian Hill at left wing, Skip and Højbjerg in centre midfield, if that happens and we lose, You know me, LB. I won't pull any punches. It won't be, oh my God, I feel so sorry for the manager and look at the squad. No, there's enough in the squad tonight to put your best team out that's available. We play in 10 days' time, LB.
Mm-hmm.
Game isn't for 10 days. So all of this, we can't play players in case of injuries. What? The FA Cup doesn't know it's injuries. The league games don't know if they're injuries. Players are going to get injured or not, right? You can't. So, yeah, you're right. Put your best team out. Beat Burnley. We should beat Burnley, right? No excuses. Beat Burnley. They've won 3 games of football all year. They've conceded 41 goals. Beat Burnley. Get your hat in the ring. Then start getting your players back fit.
Yeah. You know why I'm so passionate about this, right? It's because one of the things that winds me up is when opposition fans say, City win everything, we're ruining football. The amount of times I see good football sides, I'm not even talking about Liverpool, Arsenal. I'm talking about like the Leicesters when they were decent, when they were in the league. West Ham's, good football clubs. Teams that are in the top 10 quite fairly often, which Leicester were before they got relegated. Play dead teams, get knocked out, and then moan at the end of the year when they go, City win everything. Yeah, because fucking we take shit seriously, man. If your clubs, I remember going to Leicester, yeah, and obviously some City fans might remember. We went to Leicester, I think we played them in a Carabao Cup, like quarter-final or something, yeah. We went there and Pep rested basically, not the whole team, but a lot of the team. I think we had like Dimichelis and Tosin Adarabayoyo at the centre-back positions, but this was when Tosin was like in 17 or something, yeah. Like a load of like young players, a load of fringe loads. And it was when that Claude Puel was there. And he didn't play Mahrez, he didn't play Vardy, he didn't play like all the Donnies, you know, the guy went Chelsea as well, the centre mid, maybe can't say the drink waters, didn't play any of them. We ended up beating him on penalties. And I remember coming back on the bus on the way home, on the coach on the way home, thinking, what on earth are they doing? What on earth are teams like this?
Why didn't they go for it?
Why didn't they go for it? You know what I mean? And I think, Spurs are a club that have done this for a long time, not took trophies seriously, and then when you have took him semi-seriously, your board doesn't take it seriously because he had Mourinho and then bloody sacked him, just before the final. So I think Spurs need to enter this new phase, which I believe they might be doing with Ange. It's got what's happened over the last 15 years hasn't worked. You've had spells where you got to Champions League finals, you've been in Champions League, but ultimately you've won nothing. So I'm sorry that sounds like I'm fucking doing it. But no. I'm saying it as like I think Spurs need to say, right, that's not worked. We need to enter a new period and change. And I think it might be happening with Ange.
Look, we'll see if it's happening. We'll know by tonight. We'll know. So I'm not saying one game defines anything, but we'll know tonight how serious are we about actually winning something. Now, there's a couple of ways of looking at it. As I've always said to you, like when we're on Saeed's channel, for me, it's about building and growing and what we're going to do moving forward. So I'm not putting pressure on this guy to win anything this year. However, that doesn't mean that I want to get knocked out in the third round to Burnley at home by playing a weakened team, right? If Spurs get knocked out in the quarters, the semis, whatever, by a Man City, by a Liverpool, by an Arsenal, you can almost go, all right, we didn't get through, but, we played one of the big boys, right? We played one of the big boys. I can accept that. In recent years, do you want to know the list of teams that have knocked us out of cups?
This could be fun. This could be exciting.
This is the list of teams. So Fulham, beginning of this year, they knocked us out the League Cup. Last year, we were knocked out the League Cup by Nottingham Forest, who were in a relegation battle. Last year, we were knocked out of Sheffield United, who were in the Championship in the FA Cup fifth round. The year before, we were knocked out by Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. We were knocked out. Who knocked us out the League Cup that year?
This is a lot worse than I thought, by the way.
Right. So for me, I'm like, I get it. I get it. When we're knocked out to the Chelseas, the Liverpools, the Arsenals, the Cities, no part of me says, you know what? We should have won that. I think, okay, they're good teams, but you can't be getting Fulham away after 3 games. You can't be getting Burnley at home who have won 3 games of football all season and then saying, FA Cup's not important. League Cup's not important. Hang on. Isn't winning trophies important? Like why are we doing this? Arsenal or Liverpool, one of those big guns, as you said, love the phrase. One of those big guns is going out. Who knows? Newcastle could get knocked out, depending on what happens at Sunderland. Who knows? Man United aren't in great shape. They could go. I'm not all saying now, but at what point do you look at this and go, you've got to take this seriously? We haven't even got a game midweek. We play once a week. Our next game is in 10 days. So, look, the biggest mistake he can make tonight, we can talk about Dier. I'm sure we'll talk about him in a minute. What have you seen all the links? We'll talk about him in a minute. But we can talk about Dier playing. You could talk about Brian Hill playing. The biggest mistake you can make tonight with the new style of play that Tottenham have implemented is Fraser Forster going in goal. Because Vicario, who's been absolutely phenomenal so far this season, keeps us in games for fun because our style of play means we're going to have loads of... Bournemouth had 24.
He's been great.
24 chances Bournemouth had, LB.
Wow,
24.
geez.
Brighton had 18. Everton had 19, right? It's Vicario keeps us in it. He comes out, he sweeps up play. Fraser Forster has been a solid goalkeeper throughout the years, but he can't get down low. Takes him about 15 minutes to get down.
Yeah, he's just spent, and he's
right. So I don't want to see any excuses. This is tonight. This has to be go through. If he puts a weakened team out and we lose, watch how many Spurs fans won't allow the manager to be criticised for it.
I want to speak on that, but first of all, big up to Leanne, who's also gifted a 5-bomb, man. Big up to you. Big up to Paratos for the 5 earlier. I love to see the W's in the chat. Thank you very much for supporting the channel, man. Massively do appreciate it. Thank you very, very much. Very generous. So here's the thing. You said something a few minutes ago about the Fulham game. And that Ange said he wanted to see what the players were like, the fringe players. Okay. Yeah. So I think he made a mistake, but he's a couple of weeks into the job of competitive football at Spurs. I get it. If he does the same thing tonight and they get beat, that's then for me on him, not the players, because he's then made that. I can sort of allow it for the Fulham game. I think he made the wrong call, but I can understand it. It is what it is. If he does it again tonight and then they get beat, that's down to the manager. There's nothing else you can say.
Look, do you know what I said about the Fulham game at the time? If you want to try out some of your fringe players, I never think it's worthwhile trying all of them out at the same time because you're literally getting fringe players to play with other fringe players.
I agree.
What does it do? If you had said, right, we're going to have 6 of the first team, we're going to keep the spine, have 6 in the first team. We're going to have Son up top, James Maddison in the hole, Basuma's going to be midfield, Van der Ven and Romero at the back, and then the other 5 can all be fringe players. I'll turn around and go, cool, there's enough there. There's enough there to win. But when you I think he made 10 changes. The only one that played was Van der Ven, who had been at the club for 3 games, right? He's the only one that played. Now, funnily enough, we were awful first half. Second half, we were better because he did bring on Maddison, Son, right? He brought on a few of the players. But by then, you're at the point where we could have been 2-3-0 up at half time if you put your best 11 out. So that frustrated me, but new manager, fair enough. Tonight, I'm not having it in any way, shape or form. All of this, Premier League's more important. We're not in Europe. He came out last week, LB, right? He comes out after the Brighton game. This was so worrying for me to hear as a Spurs fan, right? He comes out after the Brighton game and goes, players are tired. And I'm looking at the league table going, in the top 9 currently of the league table, Spurs are the only one of that 9 that haven't played twice a week. Now, I know Newcastle and United have now been knocked out, but up until that point, we're the only ones that play 1 game a week. And we're talking about the players being tired. I don't know, mate. I don't know. I don't know. I just don't know what to think on it.
Yeah, well, listen, for me, in these sort of games, I've always been of the opinion that you should start. I'm not against rotating a few players, but I'm always of the opinion, go strong, win the game, then put your kids on, then put your academy players on, then put your fringe players on. It's much easier to do it that way than throw on players towards the end and then as well, because you're losing or whatever, they're then running around, sprinting and, getting involved, more tackles, more likely to get injured. I view it completely the opposite way. There's a super chat here from Martin. Says, please don't talk about Eric Dier playing. Listen, how this guy has managed a career, at England, Spurs, and now potentially Bayern Munich, if you believe the latest news, is
it's everywhere. By the way, Sky Sports News in Germany have reported it just now. Sky Sports News in England are reporting it. Is it Pletty? What's his name? Plettenberg, Plettigol, whatever he calls himself. He's reporting it now. He was the one that was very much behind the Harry Kane transfer. Listen, if Eric Dier gets a move to Bayern Munich, I think that is brilliant because it gives hope to all of us in the world that anything is possible, right? And how the mighty have fallen if Eric Dier is wanted by a giant like Bayern Munich. I mean, I'll take it. LB, I don't care where he goes. I'll take it. But Bayern Munich, they've got Upamecano, Matthias de Ligt, who's the other? Who's the Korean guy they've got?
Min Jae.
Kim Min Jae.
Yeah.
They've got Alphonso Davies. What are they doing going after Eric Dier?
Yeah, listen, these moves are mad. I don't fully understand why Bayern Munich are going for it, but like you say, you got to get rid of him. And if someone's going to pay to take him off your hands, then absolutely, you should be all for it.
Maybe they'll take Ndombele as well.
Well, yeah, maybe they'll just take your whole squad that you don't want. Who knows? I mean, they're moving weird enough. They're moving weird enough there. Guys, make sure you have smashed a like and make sure you have subscribed to Savage Channel Football Heritage TV. The link is in the title of the stream, guys. So make sure you go smash a sub. Make sure you have smashed a like on this stream as well. And keep giving us your thoughts on Spurs in the comment section. If you're watching back on replay, let me know down below what you think about Spurs, especially this season with Ange. But we're going to turn our attention to the Premier League now. And specifically the title race. And me and you have a difference of opinion on this, Sava. But I believe, in fact, before we move on, we'll do this super chat because it's about Ange. Big up, Peb says, Ange in his presser seemed to say he made a mistake against Fulham. So if he does something similar, it's on him. You literally just repeated the words that I said a few minutes ago, bro. Completely agree. And so does Sava. So we're all in agreement. Big up for the super chat. And let's see what he does tonight, bro. I think it's going to be very interesting to see what starting 11 he puts out. Thank you very much for the donation. This is the Premier League, right? I believe the top 5 teams are all in a title race. And that's Liverpool, Villa, Manchester City, Arsenal, and Spurs. For me, the reason I'm saying that is because there's only 6 points that separates Liverpool at the top to Spurs in 5th. We're now over halfway through the season. City are halfway through. We've played a game less, but we're over halfway through the season for the other 5 teams. And in my opinion, Spurs have done exceptionally well to be on 39 points, only 6 points behind Liverpool, when they've had no Van der Ven for the last 2 months. They've had no Maddison for the last 2 months. They've had Romero suspended a few games. They've had Basuma out for a little bit as well. I think, and I know you want to leave it a little bit longer, and I understand your reasons, but I believe I have legitimate cause to say Spurs are in a title race, and my view is you're not in a title race when you're not in a title race. And right now, you are in one. Now, do I think Spurs are going to win the league? No. Do I think that they'll finish in the top 4? Possibly not. I think it's very, very close. But for me, I want to see what Tottenham do in this transfer window, because I don't see what all teams do. At Villa, probably even more so, because they're fucking second. But I think until you're not in the race, Sava, for me, you are in the race.
Look. So obviously you know more than probably most of the people viewing who probably haven't watched me on a show before or whatever. Look, first and foremost, let me caveat this before I get dog's abuse. I think what Ange is doing at Spurs and what Spurs are trying to implement for the years to come is very good, right? Let me just start by saying that. Otherwise, it just sounds like pure hate. Do I think we're ready to win a Premier League title? No, I don't. I think we're far too open in games. I think there'll be far too many games like we saw against Brighton the other night, like we saw against Villa, games where we dominate, can't finish, and then get hit. I'm not saying that was Villa, by the way, not Brighton. I think that we're a good team that are not ready yet. Now, the difference between me and you, LB, and there's no right, there's no wrong here. I don't consider a title race after 20 games of the season. Okay. For me, I want to get to 28, 29 games of the season to get to the business end of the season. And let's see who's there. If Spurs are in touching distance as we go to 29, 30 games, and you've got 8 games left, and you say, right, this is where it matters. we'll have the conversation, right? But for me, if anything showed us why we should always be cautious unless we are Man City, right? And I'm not blowing smoke because I'm on a Man City. Anything shows why we should be cautious, is Arsenal last year. Should show us. Everyone talks about it. Title this, title that, title. And when it got to the business end of the season, it all got a bit too much for them. Now, the difference for me is I think it's all right for teams to do really well in game 1 to 10. It's really good to do well in game 11 to 20. When you hit the back half of the season, it's like a horse race. It's not always the horse who's out in front for the first 10 furlongs. It's the horse that does the best over the last 3 or 4. It's same with marathon runners, right? For me, I need to see that Spurs have got the know-how, the ability to see out games as the season draws to a close. The manager's telling us that we're tired. That doesn't bode well when you're in the first week of January. We're pissing about trying to get signings over the line. We've got injury-prone footballers. This will keep happening, by the way. We can talk about Van der Ven, Romero, Maddison when they're fit. Nothing to say that other players won't go out injured. So I just think we're the next level below Liverpool and Man City. Can we finish in the top 4? Why not? And I said to you at the beginning of the season, I want Europe. Europe's got to be the benchmark. If we get Europa League, very good year. If you get Champions League, Andrew's done a phenomenal job from where we were. So that's where I am. I'm not saying we're bad. I just don't think we're going to win it.
I get it. Like you said, both positions are fair and reasonable. You're more than entitled to say you want to wait until maybe match day 30 or whatever. So I mean, that's only 10 games away. I mean, that's not that far away. You know what I mean? So we've already done.
Okay, look at LB. Look at Arsenal now, right? 5 games ago, you're sitting there going, "Oh, City are on a bad run." If Arsenal rack up 3 wins out of these next, just 3, just the 3, right? If Arsenal can win 3, draw 1, and lose 1 of the next 5, they give themselves a 7-8 point buffer between Man City and Arsenal. Look what happens in 5 games.
Yep.
Look what happens. I normally say, look what happens in 3 games of football. But look what's happened to Arsenal in that time. And as I said to you, you guys would have been sitting there wherever the World Club Cup was. You would have been sitting there knowing that you're coming off the back of, 1 win in 6. 2 wins, whatever it was in 7, whatever, knowing, oh God, we've not been doing that well. You're sitting there, you're watching Liverpool and Arsenal draw with each other. Thank you, we'll have that. You're watching Liverpool draw at home to a crap Man United team. We'll have that. You're watching Arsenal lose to Villa, lose to West Ham, lose to Fulham. We'll have that. And you guys will sit there go, we know how to win from here. We know how to win from here.
No, exactly.
No one else does.
And let me tell you, Savvy, I can tell you this on behalf of pretty much every City fan. I and most City fans were sat there, coming back from the Club World Cup, and we was looking at the league table, and we was all saying, how the hell are we only 5 points behind the leaders with a game in hand? It was almost too difficult to understand because we just won 1 game in 6. Yeah. Every man and his dog was saying that we was in a crisis. City are over. City don't have the desire. Pep's finished. Haaland without Kevin De Bruyne. Blah, 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 blah. We're all done. We can't defend. We can't do it. And everyone was going on. And we was 5 points off the top, and we just won the Club World Cup. We've already won 1 trophy, UEFA Super Cup early in the season. We're thinking, what's going on here? So
people are reactionary. People are reactionary. Let's be brutally honest. I was not one of the ones ever saying you were in a crisis. If you remember, I was the one saying, I think City haven't been that bad. Yeah, a couple of those, a couple of those draws you definitely should not have drawn. But when I look at Man City, if I look at Man City now, right, and listen, you guys will obviously know more than me. You're Man City fans. If I look at Man City now, for the crisis, not me saying it, the crisis that Man City are in, you're 5 points, there we go, 5 points off the top with a game in hand that you will win, right? If I look at you in the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19. In your last 20 games, you've lost 2. 1 to Arsenal and 1 to Villa in your last 20 games of football in all competitions. if that's a crisis, right? Give me that crisis. If that is your crisis, 2 defeats in 20 games, right? You've won 6 of your last 7 in all competitions.
Yeah.
I don't see the crisis. And everyone done this last year, right? Or especially the Arsenal fans. City aren't. Here you go. Let's go through some of the classic hits, shall we? City aren't what they were. They're missing Gundogan and Mahrez the same way last year. We're missing Sterling. We're missing but I'm saying we're like what people are saying. Missing Sterling, missing Jesus, missing Zinchenko. The year before, they're missing David Silva and they're missing Company. I keep hearing it. No one else for me in the league is good enough to take advantage of that.
Yeah. And
no
listen,
one else.
That's why I've been so consistent this year. I feel like I say the same thing every stream, but like, it's because what I initially said from day one was, I have to say, was complete facts, guys. I spoke nothing but facts. Soon as Kevin De Bruyne got injured against Burnley, what did I say? I said, just get me within 6 or 7 points. 7 is max of whoever's top of the league by the time Kevin De Bruyne comes back in January, and I'm chill. I believe we're going to win. That's what I've said. And I say it all the time, and I do feel just like, man, I say this all the time, it must get boring. But the reason I said it is because I genuinely believed it, and it was true. So I'm sitting here now, Kevin De Bruyne is now back, and we're 5 points off the top, so we're within that 0 to 7 point window, but we also have a game in hand. Win that, it's 2. So we are right where we wanted to be. In fact, if you win that game in hand, you're actually at the lower end of where I wanted to be, because I said 0 to 7 points. So I'm in a situation now where and I think, again, I could speak for a lot of City fans. Sava, we are so excited for this second half of the season. So excited because we've had no Kevin De Bruyne. Yeah, we've had no Kevin De Bruyne. Grealish has had a few injuries. Doku's had an injury. Stones has been in out the team. Literally within the next 2 weeks, barring any new injuries, we're about to have a fully foot squad.
What about a bloke called Erling Haaland as well? I mean, like, look, I keep seeing whoever has the best transfer window wins the league. I disagree. I think that City maybe will bring in one player. Even if they don't, Haaland and De Bruyne to come back with Doku and with John Stones. I mean, I just... Look, I always get accused, but this is the funny thing. I get accused, you're in Pep's arse. You love Man City. I don't love Man City. I just appreciate them for how good they are. And I keep hearing that they're not as good as I make them out to be. All right, well, someone go and stop them then. If they're not as good as I say, LB, where are the teams winning the leagues in front of them? Because Liverpool have managed it once in 6 years. Villa are going to win the league above City. Spurs are better than City this year. Arsenal are better. This is our year. City are weaker. Cool. All right. City are crap. City are the worst football team this year in the top 5. Let's see who wins the league then. Let's see.
Yeah.
Let's see. Stop talking about it and do it.
You know what? These will be the same people, Savvy, that if City do win the league, we'll be like, City always win the league. It's ridiculous. It's like, well, hang on a minute. You told us that we were crap. I think what a lot of people are overdoing is, I do think we're not as good as last year, right? I think that's a fair comment. What people are kind of not remembering here and acknowledging is that we've declined slightly from one of the best teams of all time. We won the fucking treble. We haven't declined from a team that won no trophies and just sneaked to the title on match day 38. Like we just won it, whatever. You know what I mean? We was a solid team last year. We won the Champions League and won the FA Cup. We was a treble. And some people, I don't say it, but some people say it was one of the best teams ever. So if you have declined, then you've declined from a very, very good team. And we are still a very, very solid team.
Listen, I would ask you this question. You've got 19 games left, is it? 19? You're exactly halfway through the season, right?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
With your game in hand. From this 19, how many wins, how many draws, how many defeats? What you're looking at? And I'll work out the points.
Okay, so to match last year, it's going to be very difficult because I think we've only got 2 losses and 1 draw in the bank in the whole of the second half of the season, which, yeah, that's correct. So we're probably going to... But I've said this for a while. I think the league's going to be one slightly lower. I think it's going to be 84, 85 points, which would have won it for Arsenal last year. I think we're going to need... maybe 13 wins, 2 draws, and that allows me. Does that allow me 3 losses? I think it does. I think that if I do 30, how many points does that get me to?
That's 4 losses. So 13 wins, 2 draws. That's 15 games. That would be 4 losses.
And so how many points would that get me to?
So that would get you to 81. I make it out. 13, 26, 39 plus 2 draws, 41. I give you 41 points. So 41 plus 40. Sorry, 41 plus the 42 you're on now. You'd end the season on 83 points.
I mean, it's possible because as well, we don't know how Liverpool are going to get on with Salah. I think people are overhyping it. I think they'll be okay. But if they fall, I mean, to be fair, I was speaking with Hossam yesterday. He said Salah's got 51% of all Liverpool's GNA this season, which is pretty mad. That is pretty mad. So I don't know. I think it's a weird season, Sava, because I feel like it's either going to be won on like 83 to 85 points, or City could just storm roll the second half of the season. And I don't know. What
have you got coming up? What's your next? Let's call it right. What's your next 10 fixtures?
Yeah, so it's not that bad, but it starts off pretty bad. Bad as in like the team. So we got Newcastle away. That's the bad one. And they're not in great form.
Is that a bad one at the moment? When are you playing them? Mate, they're awful. They are awful right now. LB, I don't think they've got it. Listen, I watched them play against Wolves. I watched them play against Liverpool. The game before that, I can't remember who it was against. They are. You will take them to the cleaners. Liverpool. I think they had 34.
Yeah, they did. They absolutely
was it like 34 chances against Newcastle? Newcastle are in a bad place at the moment.
So here's my point on that. I think it's going to be trickier than what you're making out. But if City do go to St James's Park and win, I would be then very shocked if City don't go on and win this league, because then you've got Burnley at home. That's 3 points. Brentford away should be winning there.
They've got loads of injuries. That's Everton 3 points.
Yeah, Everton at home. A backers against any team in the world at the Etihad. That should be 3 points. Chelsea at home, 3 points. Bournemouth away, they're good, but I expect us to win. Man United at home again. I expect us to win. You get to March, but if we can go,
this is the game. That's the game. Liverpool, Man City. But right. So how many games before the Liverpool game in the league? You
got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
Right. I think Man City wins 6 of those and draw 1. I reckon somewhere along the line you will drop a game. I think if you win 6 out of that 7 without losing, go to Liverpool. Can Liverpool? That would mean Liverpool would need to win at least 6 of 7 as well to still be above you. That's what I'm talking about in terms of title race. Then for everyone else to be in a title race, LB, Villa have to win 5 or 6 games in a row. Spurs have to win 5, 6 games in a row. Arsenal have to. It's not possible. Not all those teams are just going to keep winning relentlessly. So I still think you'll win it. I think that you'll win it. Liverpool will be second. I think Arsenal will be third. And then I think it's a battle between Tottenham, Villa. At the moment, you would just say Tottenham and Villa for that 4th place. If you look at the table, I don't know if West Ham and Brighton are tucked in behind, but they've both hit and miss and both got Europe.
I don't think they've got enough firepower.
No, I absolutely agree. And then, I mean, look at the gap that Tottenham have created now to West Ham. West Ham not beating Brighton at home the other day, I think, for me, guaranteed Spurs European football. I know that sounds mad after 20 games, but look at that gap between us and whoever's in 8th.
I don't necessarily disagree. The only thing I would say is if West Ham's front 3 keep firing as they are, then who knows what could happen. But I feel like their overall squad, plus they've got the Europa League, and I think credit to them. I think they want to take that seriously, and I think they should, because I think they've got a decent chance of potentially winning that. I know Liverpool are in it, but I still think on the day, a one-off game, potentially they could win. But yeah, no, I agree. I think Villa's the one for me, which is really, really interesting, because they have to take the title race seriously, Sava. I hear what you're saying, but they are second. They are second now. I know we've got a game in hand, but they have to take it seriously, man. They have to go and transfer the January transfer window and do business.
I'll say the same thing for them as us. I'll lump them in with us. For me, it's that know-how, right? The key thing for me, I talk about this all the time, right? The know-how, the experience to get over the line, to stay in a title race, to not play well but win. And I'm not talking about, like Spurs played awfully against Bournemouth and won. I'm not talking about now. It's when you get into late March, April, and you've got some tricky games and it's wet and no one wants to play. And all of a sudden, De Bruyne's link-up play with Bernardo Silva, suddenly they don't look the players they are. But you grab that 1-0 win because Haaland's popped up with a 6-yarder. They're the games that get you into title races and win your titles. Villa, Spurs haven't done it before. Even Arsenal, to agree. Arsenal have never got over the line. Like for 20 years, they've not got over the line. You guys not only have the players that have done it before, and I think I saw the other day that from your main 25 squad, I think 23 of them have all won the Premier League or something. I think it was just... who was it? It was Vardiol, Doku,
Nunes,
and Nunes. Three that haven't. But then again, Vardiol's, a seasoned Croatian international who's played big games, massive games for RB Leipzig. All right, Nunes and Doku not so much, but you've got 22 of that 25-man squad that are used to winning Premier Leagues, Champions Leagues, FA Cups, League Cups. You go down to Arsenal's, they haven't got that at all. Right, they might have a few. Jesus has won, Zinchenko's won, but they weren't the main men when they won it. Now look at
that's true.
You even Kovacic in your squad. Look what he's won for Real Madrid, for Chelsea. These are people that know it. Liverpool have got some. Salah, he's been there, seen it, done it. Virgil van Dijk, Matip, Trent Alexander-Arnold, Robertson, Alisson, they've done it. So they'll have some of it. But then you
it's
go
also
down...
infrequent there, so sorry to cut you off. Theirs is also they do have a few players that have done it, as you say, but not as experienced as some of the City players.
No, absolutely. This is my point. This is why I start with City, then I go to Liverpool. Now, when you look at Arsenal, haven't got it. Spurs haven't got it. I mean, if I'm looking at the Spurs squad right now, who's won a Premier League title in our squad?
Have you got any?
I don't think so. All right, Romero's won a World Cup. Very different to getting over the line for 7 games as it is 38-game season. Hugo Lloris is now gone. He was the one that had won a World Cup and won titles in France. Villa, I'm not knocking these teams, but until you do it, you ain't done it.
No, because, and this is what I've been saying about Arsenal, man, for last year and this year, and this is why I tipped Liverpool. I flip-flopped on Liverpool and Arsenal all season, and I think I continue will to do so, and people can mock me if they want, but I just don't know. I think they're very, very close. But one of the reasons why I say it about Arsenal, because you are right, until you go and actually do it. Let me tell you something. If Arsenal go and win the league this year, next year, I'm going to be like, they're serious. You got to take it, because you have to. But until they do it, as Sav was saying, you kind of just like, do they have enough to get over the line, And that's the question. The reason why I think specifically Aston Villa should take the league seriously and try and do some business in January. Because the more that they try and do business, the more they take the league seriously and try and go for the title race, the more likely they are to finish inside the top 4. Because they'll have. I
agree, but you know that the thing that Villa are going to have to balance. It's the same thing. If you look at Newcastle and Brighton, they've both dropped off this year. It's no coincidence that it's when they're being asked to play 2 games a week, and you can't just put your best 11 out every week. Now, yes, injuries have not helped. Injuries have not helped anyone, if we're going to be honest. But Villa are in that same bracket for me. Villa, for me, should win that Conference League, right? Villa should, with their squad, and Unai Emery's the master of winning European competitions, they should win that. But the problem is the deeper you go, the more tired your players get. Even if you're rotating, the urge is the deeper you go in a competition, you stop playing your fringe players as much, don't you? You get to the quarters, to the semis, and now all of a sudden it's thanks, Mr. Fringe player who's played the last 7 games. Right, Dier, you're in tonight, even though you played at the weekend. Right, so look, as I said, I'm not a salty Spurs fan. If Arsenal win the league, I'll take my hat off to them and go, fair play, because you know what? You win the league, you deserve it. And then, like you said, I'll take them seriously next year. They know now how to do it. Their manager knows how to get over the line. At the moment, I think a lot of these teams are up there because I think they're preying on the fact that City did have that 6 games. Let's say you'd won 3 of those 6 instead of 1, right? Which could have been the Chelsea last minute equaliser. The last minute, the Liverpool game where
that was late.
That was late, but also the goal that should have stood for you guys. You'd suddenly be right now 4 points clear, and everyone will be going, "Oh, City have won it again."
Mm-hmm.
And that's perception, isn't it? It's the difference between
this is. Yeah, no, you're right. Because if you go back to that those 6 games, the games that we didn't win, and we only lost one. The only one that we lost was Villa, and we got fucking murdered there. That was a shocking performance, and Villa was absolutely insane. But the other 3, Liverpool, Spurs, Chelsea, I thought we were very unlucky not to win all 3 of those games. To be honest with you, we was unlucky. Like you say, we got a last minute penalty against Chelsea. It was our own fault. You got the Liverpool game, which on another day the referee doesn't give the foul, and maybe Trent doesn't put that into the bottom corner, and then Spurs. I mean, the first goal, a couple of mistakes. You had Lo Celso putting one into the bottom corner from the edge of the box when all Spurs fans have told me that he's rubbish and don't worry about him, LB. He'll be absolutely crap. You know what I mean? I'm like, okay, and then he just goes on. But that's what Spurs do against us. Big up to Martin says Spurs won't get 46 points. That's us out of the race. Okay, so the 46 points in the next. Yeah.
So what can we get? Spurs can get what? 18, 36, 46. We can get a possible 54 points. Is that good maths? We've got 18 games there, 3 18s. Yeah, 54. We can get 54 points. Will Spurs manage to not to only drop 8 points in the rest of the season? I don't think so. I'd love to say it, but let's be fair. That would mean losing hardly any, wouldn't it? So I don't know.
Yeah.
I'd say it's a big ask. It's a big ask.
What's probably going to happen is that someone's going to get a lot of points and not get top 4. That's what it looks like it's going to happen. The way things are going. Gunnar says, "LB, you flip flop. You say we can't win it, then still put us one of the favourites. Which one is it?" Okay, it's really simple, Gunnar. Yeah.
I love Arsenal fans.
LB, you say we can't win it. When have I ever said Arsenal can't win the league? I've never said that. I've literally never, ever said Arsenal cannot win the league. I think Arsenal could win the league this year. 100% Arsenal could win the league this year. And I put you as one of the favourites. Why? Guess what? Because you're one of the favourites. I've just come on the stream and said I think it's a five-way title race. I think all teams are in the top 5. So I've flip-flopped on who I think is more favourite between Liverpool and Arsenal, because people always say, because people always ask me as a City fan, who do you think's the favourite, like compared to City, Liverpool, or Arsenal? People ask me that all the time as a City fan. People like to know City fans' opinion on that. And I flip-flopped on Liverpool, Arsenal all season. I will probably continue to do so.
Can we just call it for what it is? The Arsenal fans, right? Because they finished second last year when no one expected them to, suddenly in their minds, it elevated them to be natural winners of this league, right? If I was an Arsenal fan, why can't you keep your feet on the ground, get over the line, then come back and mock the rest of us? Yeah? If you get over the line, come back on this show, call us out. You said you wouldn't win it. Hands up. Yeah, you won it. But
captured in 4K, yeah.
But you guys haven't won a league. Listen, I can't talk. My team's not won a league title for 63 years. But you have not won a league title for 20 years. And all your fans go on about, oh, we're brilliant and Saka's the best this and Martinelli. And it's like, oh, just stop. Just stop. Win it and then give us shit.
Yeah. Apparently, I have an agenda against Arsenal, which is I don't. I back them to win. I think they'll beat Liverpool at the weekend. I think they've, provided he takes it seriously, because I think Arteta really messed up last year when he come to the Etihad and rotated his back line. He sort of handed the initiative to City in that FA Cup game. Big up to Phil, who says, "Come on, Arsenal have had loads of experience bottling it." Says Phil P with the
Phil P, the leader of the Phil Army. Big up, Phil.
Big up to Phil. And Marcus says, "Boys, Arsenal is not winning it this year." No, I don't think they will. I think City will win it. I think City will win it, bro. They have a chance. Of course, they have a chance. They're 5 points off at the top. They're on the same points as City. Yes, we have a game in hand. And I guess the experience that they had last year will probably help them. But I don't think they did quite enough in the summer, personally, to go and really win this.
Can I ask you a question?
Yeah.
I'm just going to put it out there. I'm not saying this will happen, so all the Arsenal fans, calm down before I ask this question. If Arteta doesn't get top 4 this year, if he's the one, look, because there's 5 teams there that are going for 4th, right? Sorry, that are going for that top 4. If he finishes 5th after being in a title race last year, does he have to be sacked?
Great question. Chat, let us know what you think in the comments. For me,
how did you know I was going to ask that?
Because I knew straight away, bro.
How did you know? I was like, that's a pig. It's like what I'm saying. It's like Chat GPT.
Yeah, no. Soon as you said, "Can I ask you a question?" I was like,
I just wonder because, listen, I had Arsenal as dead certs to be in that top 3, and I still think they should. But I'm looking at it right now, going, if Arsenal don't go and get what they need in this window, are they better than Villa? Are they better than Tottenham? I don't know. Like, I think they are a better team than us, but you're 1 point clear of us. Like, I feel like, I don't know. I just feel like at some point, there you go. That's my favourite account that comes into my chat, by the way. Get the fraud Arteta out of my club is the name of the account. I love that guy. East London Gooner, that is. Big up.
Okay, let me give you my views on this one then, bro. So, by the way, chat, I've done a poll in the chat so you guys can give us your thoughts on this one. I think if he doesn't finish inside the top... Okay, so first of all, I think he needs to win the league this year. I think that should be the ultimate goal. And if he doesn't win the league, then I think questions should be asked anyway. I think if he doesn't finish inside the top 4, having spent £100 million on Rice, having signed Kai Havertz for 65 million, which, by the way, was his own signing. He gambled on that. And I said, Sav, I don't know if you remember me saying this on Saeed's channel as soon as he signed him. I think that could be P45 that gets him sacked because that was a gamble that he didn't need to do. I think if he doesn't get top 4, I think you have to sack him. If he gets inside the top 4, it then just depends on whether you're a fan of the process and the phases. Some Arsenal fans will say, no, his ultimate goal this year.
What phase are we in right now?
What, you? Spurs?
Them.
4.5 apparently.
4.5.
So if you're a fan of the... Well, this is the... No. Because what happens is they keep on adding the phases.
Oh, I see.
This is the brilliant thing about the phases. They extend as they go along. You just add phases on. So if you're a fan of the phases, you're a fan of the project, you'll probably maybe give him 1 more year. If you're a fan who thinks that he should win the league, obviously you want him to be sacked. I think he made a major error signing Havertz. I think his transfer strategy this summer was questionable. I think losing Granit Xhaka, and people will say to me, yeah, but LB, Xhaka wanted to leave. Sit him down in a room, offer him a new contract, and make him know just how important he is to that squad.
You're my main man.
And you're gonna be playing. You know what I mean? Just like what's it called? Pep Guardiola did with Walker. Walker was out the door. Walker was gone Bayern Munich, man. And Pep Guardiola took him out to town, wined and dined him, and said, listen, I need you to stay. And he stayed. Now, some City fans might not want that to happen, but that's what happened. And at the end of the day, I think his transfer strategy is weird. I think the tactical approach to the season, Sava, going to this more control FC, I think was a mistake as well. I think he should have... this is the thing about Arsenal. I think he overreacted. Last year, they did not lose the league, because Saliba was injured or whatever. They lost the league because they bottled it. Yeah, they bottled it, right? That's the facts. So all they needed to do was add a bit of experience, add the Kovacic's of this world, Sava. It don't even cost a lot of money, by the way. 25 million for Kovacic. Add the Kovacic's of this world. Maybe add a little bit of quality. By all means, go and sign Declan Rice. But what he's done is he's got rid of some experience in Xhaka. He's brought in a massive gamble and he's completely changed the play style. I think it's an overreaction.
I'll ask this, right? All I ever hear from Arsenal fans, and by the way, I don't use injuries as an excuse for my own club. You know that, right? I don't use injuries as an excuse. All I hear from Arsenal fans is last year, if Saliba hadn't got injured, we win that title. Okay. The 3-game spell which stopped you winning the title was West Ham, Southampton, at home, right? West Ham and Liverpool where you're 2-0 up. Now, I'm sorry. When you are playing last year's West Ham, who finished 15th, 14th, something like that, and you're in a title race, I don't care whether one player, i.e. Saliba's missing or not, you win that game. When you are playing Southampton, who got relegated at your own ground, I don't care whether Saliba is playing or not, you find a way to win that game. Spurs just drew with Man City, with Ben Davis and Emerson Royal at centre-half. You find a way, right? You find a way. You're 2-0 up against Liverpool without Saliba. So what's the excuse for losing to them without him? You were 2-0 up. Manage the game. For me, I think you're spot on, LB. It was more than Saliba got injured. You've got to have a squad. Yeah? You're not going to have a like-for-like replacement with Saliba. I get it. But the next player coming in behind Saliba, same as my club right now is trying to do with Dragusin. The next player coming in behind Saliba needs to be a guy who's been there, seen it, done it, and is calm. Doesn't have to be the best centre-half in the world. Doesn't have to be a player that brings the ball out and looks like Beckenbauer, but a solid defender that knows how to play. And Arsenal didn't do that. You had the chance in January to go and do that and bought, no offence to him, he might be a good player in years to come. You bought Kiwior as a young centre-half. You bought Trossard, hardly played him. You had the chance. So for me, all of this, if it wasn't for Saliba, you don't not win the title for one player. Like, if Man City don't win this league, I'm not going to hear from them, but De Bruyne was out for 6 months. You're not winning the league for one footballer. Sorry, I'm not hearing it. I'm not hearing it. I'm sick of excuses in football.
No,
referees, VAR. No, man.
Yeah, no, I agree with you. And listen, I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens with Arsenal this summer, because if they don't win the league, I think the Arteta out fans are going to get louder. I think some fans might join them, actually, because I've seen over the last couple of days, I've seen some Arsenal fans that have been backing Arteta for a long time now starting to question him. Now, if they get beat at the weekend, my God, that could be seriously interesting. Guys, make sure you have smashed a like on the stream if you've not done so already. The poll, by the way, should Arteta be sacked if Arsenal don't finish inside the top four? 77% of people say yes, he should be sacked. 22% of people say no, but it's hard to tell how many of those are Arsenal fans, how many of those are just fans who just want him sacked.
There will be Arsenal fans that say even if he gets top four, to go from, I mean, obviously it all depends, but if Arsenal don't win, if you get knocked out of the Champions League, if they get knocked out of the FA Cup, right, and finish fourth, far off of Man City and Liverpool, for example, then you've got to look at it and go, all right, we dropped off in the league, but we didn't even win a cup. We didn't even have the excuse of, well, we were concentrating on that. So I'm not saying you can't win the FA Cup. I'm not saying you can't finish second or third in the league, but I just think that these Arsenal fans, they run their mouths a lot. It's the same thing I warn Spurs fans of right now. Stop getting ahead of your stations. Just keep calm. Let the club build, then get excited. But hey, that's just me, man. That's just me.
Well, I'll keep every week. I'm telling Savary in a title race. So let's see if we can change his mind. But guys, hopefully
it's the long game I'm playing. I truly believe it. It's the long game. No.
I clock it now. Guys, if you have enjoyed the show, please make sure you've dropped a like on the stream. We've got over 550 people tuned in, man. We're going to start making these shows a regular. I'm going to be going on Football Heritage TV as well with Sava, and I think Mo's on that one as well. Big up to Mo. I've seen him in the chat before. Make sure you have smashed a like. We've got 550 people in the building. And 267 likes. So it'd be great if we could get to 300 likes. But what you got coming up on the channel, man? You said it's match day for you today, isn't it?
Yeah, today's the day, right? So I have a show on a Friday with Sean from Spurs Talk Show called the Friday Spurs Throwdown. So we've got that at 5 o'clock where we'll be looking forward. Tonight's episode, we'll be looking forward to the game. Watch along for the game at 7. Match reaction to the game at 10. Divorced from the wife at 12. And, that's just the way it is. So loads coming up today. And look, thanks for having me on. And if anyone did want to subscribe, I'd be very, very grateful to that.
Mint stuff. Well, guys, like I said, hopefully you did enjoy the show. Make sure you leave me your comments down below. If you're watching this back on replay, let us know your thoughts about everything we spoke about. We're probably going to be back again next Friday because we're going to start making these shows a regular thing. So hopefully you did enjoy it. I think a couple of people are going live at 2 o'clock. I'll put a redirect onto Mo, but I think Henry Wright's live. I've seen you've got a couple of streams scheduled today as well. So, guys, make sure you're checking out the rest of the people. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you in a bit.